Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, it's Duke.
And it's Corey.
Welcome back to the Drive-In Review.
Episode 8.
Yep, this is our finale for the season.
Yeah, wow, it's season 1's already over. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, what are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about mixed animations.
Okay.
Mixing live action with animation.
Okay.
So,
We got quite a few
hybrid,
movies.
if you will.
Yeah. We got a few movies to talk about.
Yep.
I'll let you start.
I would say I thought you started last time, so I'll start.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Don't mind if I do.
Okay.
All right. First one I'm going with is Cool World.
Oh, man, I haven't seen that since the 90s.
Right. Well, it came out in July 10th, 1992.
Okay.
It stars Kim Basinger, Brad Pitt, and Gabriel Byrne. And a lot of people don't know about this movie.
It's an old Brad Pitt film before anybody really knew who Brad Pitt was.
Yeah, I think it was one of his firsts, I think.
Yeah, I think his first movie was a slasher film from
Yeah.
'89.
Yep.
What was it? Cutting Class. Is what
Yeah,
it's
Cutting
called.
Class, yeah. So this movie is about a man named Jack Deebs, played by Gabriel Byrne. He was behind bars and found escape by creating Cool World. He was a animator, or a comic strip drawer or whatever. He was an artist.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't think of the word. It took me a minute.
Words are
Or
difficult.
cartoonist. There we go. A cartoonist.
Okay.
That's a more proper term for it.
Sure.
Featuring a vixen named Hollywood.
Oh, that's
And the flesh proves weaker than ink, however, as Holly takes human form.
Words are difficult.
Right? Takes human form in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So this movie was directed by Ralph Bakshi. He's known for adult cartoons, if you were, kind of like heavy metal, or like the late, like USA Up All Night, Cinemax. I mean, I'm showing our age here,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Oh, you had to throw me into that lump.
yeah, kind of like the I don't want to say cartoon porn, but almost.
Go
I
ahead
mean,
and
back
say
then
it.
it was. Yeah,
Cartoon
yeah.
porn.
He directed cartoon porn. So it was distributed and produced by Paramount Pictures. Had a budget of $21 million, only grossed $14 million.
Jeez.
So yeah, it was a flop.
I think a lot of these are flops, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I had some good ones, but I mean, the numbers show that it was a flop, but really, I mean, the ratings on it says otherwise.
Yeah.
There's a fine line between a flop and a flop.
Sure. There's a flop and then there's a flop.
Right.
Anyway.
Anyways, IMDb gave this a 4.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 4%, with a 31% audience.
Okay.
Letterboxd gave it 2.4 out of 5. I gave it 6 out of 10 slates. I mean, I like it. Call me a cult classic guy. I just, it was cheesy. It was very on the, like the dark side of Roger Rabbit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, I liked it. I mean, I thought it was good.
I haven't seen it since, like I said, since the 90s. But I
Right.
do remember when I did watch it, when I was around 12 or so. Didn't much care for it then.
It was very risque.
Yeah.
I mean, very risque film.
Maybe it was too risque for my 12-year-old mind. I don't know.
Maybe.
I would give it maybe a 5 out of 10. Just as of right now, I mean, it could grow on me as an adult.
Right. I definitely rewatch it. I've seen it. I think I've seen it about a month ago.
Oh,
when I watched
wow. Okay. Did you watch it as a kid?
I did. I've seen it several times as a kid, actually.
Okay.
So I just wanted to rewatch it as an adult to see if my opinion had changed. And no, not really.
About the same.
About the same. So I've got a lot of fun facts on this movie.
Okay. I like fun facts. They're fun.
I can't talk
Words.
today. I know, I cannot talk.
Words are difficult.
As a publicity stunt,
Good job.
Paramount Pictures put a huge cutout of Hollywood on the D of the Hollywood sign.
Okay.
I want to look up a picture for this, and if I find it, I will post it on our page. Because,
The Hollywood sign does have a big D.
well, yeah, but I mean, to have Hollywood next to the D, that would be, that's just kind of cool, I think. Some cool facts about this is the studio actually donated $27,000 to the signs maintenance fund to keep it maintained. Another $27,000 went to rebuilding the LA fund because this was just after the LA riots,
Okay, yeah.
and
That was in April, I believe, of 92.
yeah. So
I lived in California when that happened.
really,
Yeah.
that's crazy,
I mean, I was in the northern part, but
right? But
Still,
it's still
I
all
was
over the
still
news. Yeah,
on
you're
the- yeah.
closer than me.
yeah.
So they also paid for 2 park rangers to guard the sign 24 hours a day. The stunt angered local residents, as you can see. Nobody there probably wanted to see a giant, female leaning up against the D of the Hollywood sign.
That's a really loaded sentence.
It really is, especially this kind of film. But I mean, some of them even like picketed and demanded that the cutout be taken down. But they left it up there just until the premiere was over with and everything. So it was just
Okay.
so yeah. I definitely want to find a picture of it just to post it on our Facebook page. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would be. I'm sure there's pictures out there.
Right. That's just the first fact. Now here's another one. As I was saying, this film's kind of risque. So Tracy Lords,
Yeah,
well known in the porn industry.
she was
Yeah, it was.
as
And-
an underage.
right. She was contingency going. I
You
can't
can
talk.
do it. You can do
I
it.
can't talk. She was. I swear, people, I can't make this up. I get tongue tied a lot. After 8 episodes, I'm pretty sure you realize that.
Yeah.
So,
I do too. It's okay.
anyways,
It's okay.
I'm not going to try and say that big word. That's too big of a word to say.
Contingency.
Yeah, contingency. See, I can't do it. No.
Okay.
She was out to play the role of Hollywood.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Tracy Lords was.
Yeah, Tracy Lords was. I don't know why they didn't just put that in there, but that's why you don't copy and paste people.
Okay.
So, anyways,
Copy and paste people.
yeah, you don't copy and paste people. You just don't do that.
Next.
Right. But anyways, she lost her role, of course, to the widely recognized Kim Basinger.
Oh, okay.
So, because of Kim Basinger taking over, the movie was originally sold as a hard R rated movie, animated movie. So, like basically a cartoon porn,
Yeah.
adult cartoon. It was actually supposed to be an animated live action horror film.
Okay.
But with her, with Kim Basinger's involvement and everything, she talked about and decided to soften up the picture to a PG-13.
And she had a lot of pull to do that.
Evidently, she did. Yeah.
Okay.
So, both Brad Pitt and Ralph Bakshi wanted Brad to play the part of Jack Deebs, but Paramount disagreed. They went with Gabriel Byrne instead.
Okay.
In Ralph Bakshi's original script, Hollywood was named Debbie Dallas, after the the film
Porn.
Debbie does. I told you, man. this is dark. Like, I mean, from the porn film Debbie Does Dallas. That was in 1978. And then Brad Pitt is not a fan of this movie, and he said so during an interview for Bullet Train recently last year. That he is just he's not a fan at all of Cool World.
Did the interviewer ask him about Cool World specifically?
Yeah, like during an interview for Bullet Train, he said, hey, how'd you feel about your film Cool World? And he's like, not a fan.
He just stood up and walked out. Like,
yeah, right?
How dare you?
Exactly. Like, don't you mention that movie to me. So that's all I got to say about that film. That was a lot. I'm going to untie my tongue now.
Good
and
job, Forrest.
I'm going to take a break and let you talk for a little bit.
All right.
See how well you do.
All right.
What you got?
Probably not much better. Bed knobs and broomsticks.
Ooh, okay.
How long has it been since you people have seen this? What do you mean, you people?
Right? What are you talking about, you people? I don't know, probably when Angela Lansbury was younger, not dead.
That was the last time you've seen it?
Yeah.
Was when she was younger and not dead?
No offense. Rest in peace, Angela.
Yeah.
But yeah, most respect. But
She was in a lot of stuff back then.
she was.
Anyway, this movie was released December 13th, 1971, and it's a Walt Disney film.
Okay.
It was directed by Robert Stevenson, who directed a whole bunch of stuff back then, including The Love Bug, Absent-Minded Professor, and another movie that you'll be talking about later, so I won't even bring that up. It was also directed by a man named Ward Kimball. I don't have a lot on him because I just did not look him up.
Right. There's a lot of these that I just oddball names that just come out of nowhere and say, hey, let's do a movie.
Yeah.
So it's just really not recognizable to where we can, really discuss what they've done in the past.
I mean, we could if we wanted to, but time restraints.
Time restraints, and would people actually be interested?
Right.
The
movie was based on a book by Mary Norton. IMDb gave Bed Knobs and Broomsticks 7.0 out of 10. Letterboxd gave it a 3.4 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it 67% with an audience rating of 74%.
Okay.
The synopsis for this film...
You have one. Oh, my gosh,
I brought it up while you were talking. 3 children evacuated from London during World War II are forced to stay with an eccentric spinster. The children's initial fears disappear when they find out she is, in fact, a trainee witch.
Ooh.
So, witches, folks. Anyway, this movie stars Angela Lansbury, Roddy McDowall, and David Tomlinson, and it was made on a budget of $20 million. I don't have any information on what it grossed, but I assume it wasn't a flop. I'm just going to assume that.
Right.
Now, the facts that I have on this movie were that Julie Andrews was officially offered the Angela Lansbury's role. Also, there was scenes in the movie where medieval armor was used.
Yeah.
That's actually authentic medieval armor.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why they would do that.
I mean, it's Disney.
I guess it's, I mean, they have the money.
Right.
But I would feel very uncomfortable using actual authentic medieval armor.
Right. Not to mention the weight.
Right.
Like usually, costumes are either plastic or aluminum or something. You know that lightweight, but
aluminium.
Medieval armor. That's straight steel.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this movie was actually in production during the same time as Mary Poppins.
Okay.
The song "Beautiful Briny Sea" was intended for Mary Poppins, but was actually cut from the movie, and so was used in this one.
Nice.
Yeah. And the last fact I have about this film is that it was the final Disney movie to receive an award until The Little Mermaid was released in 1989.
Wow, that's quite a long time.
Yeah,
So especially for Disney.
right. So what? That's a good 18 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they kind of went in a little rut.
yeah. I mean, other films got some awards, such as Roger Rabbit, but that was not strictly a Disney movie. It was Touchstone.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but that's all I have for Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I'll
I
agree
haven't-
with you.
I haven't seen it since the 80s.
Yeah, I
since
haven't
was a
seen
little
it since then either, but I'll agree with you. 6 out of 10. It was good when I was a kid, so I remember parts of it. And
I really don't remember the damn movie at all.
really,
No, not at all. I remember a bed,
and a broomstick.
kind of.
I remember I think there's a cartoon lion in there and stuff too.
I don't even
and-
remember that.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that it was about witches or a witch. A witch.
a what? A witch. A witch.
A witch I was. Never mind. That's so stupid. I told you to slap me when I start making stupid jokes. Okay, that's all I got. What do you got?
Well, speaking of Julie Andrews and David Tomlinson,
Uh-huh.
you mentioned that at the same time making that movie Bedknobs and Broomsticks, they were filming Mary Poppins.
So you're going to talk about Mary Poppins?
I'm going to talk about Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Oh, what, ladies and gents, comical poem suitable for the occasion, extemporized and thought up before your very eyes. All right, here we go. Room in for everyone, gather around. The constable's responsible. Now, how does that sound?
In turn of the century London, magical nanny,
Which century?
witch. I thought we were done with witches. What? Which century? I don't know. It just says turn of the century.
Stop saying words. You're just saying words.
I know. I'm just saying words.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I mean, she might be a witch. I don't know.
Which witch?
A good witch.
Sandwich?
Okay. A magical nanny employs music and adventure to help two neglected children become closer to their father. Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke, and David Tomlinson all star in this movie. It was released June 18th, 1965. Directed by Robert Stevenson.
Again.
Yep, again. And
That was the other movie that he directed that I didn't want to
Right.
specify because
Yeah, you didn't want to step on my toes. I get it.
no toe.
I appreciate it.
No toe stepping.
All right. It was distributed and produced by none other than Walt Disney.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Right. Had a budget of $6 million, grossed $103 million. So made
That's-
quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
IMDb gave it 7.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 96% rating with a 86% audience rating.
Yeah.
And Letterboxd gave it 3.8 out of 5.
Yeah.
I gave it 7 out of 10 slates.
Yeah, I'd go with that. 7 out of 10 sounds good to me.
It's adventurous, it's entertaining, it's catchy. I mean,
My favorite part of the movie is when the gentleman is when they're over visiting the friend, and he's all laughing and floating in the air.
oh
I
yeah,
love to laugh.
right.
I know his name, and it escapes me. Ed Wynn was his name.
Okay.
Sorry, it took me a second. Sorry, go ahead.
Now I wonder, since this was filming at the same time and at the same studio, how tiresome was David Tomlinson having to bounce back and
Right.
forth?
Right.
Like I wonder if he lived on set, like in
Probably.
a trailer or something.
Yeah.
And just bounce back and forth
Right.
because that's just nuts.
That is.
Some fun facts about this. I don't know if you would call this fun facts, but they're interesting facts because there's nothing fun about it really.
Well, tell me, and I'll tell you if it's fun.
Well, so Mary is a bit more scary. That rhymed in in the books.
Yeah.
The Mary Poppins character is a character from the Mary Poppins books authored by P.L. Travers.
Now, is she a witch?
No,
Okay.
no, no. She's no witch. I
Oh,
sound
she
like
no witch.
I sound like.
She no witch.
Anyways,
So what is she?
so she's an author.
Mary Poppins?
No.
I'm talking about what is she?
Oh, what is she? I
She's
guess
some-
she's a witch.
She's some sort of supernatural entity.
Yeah. I guess she's a good witch.
Okay.
She-
Like
she's
Glinda?
Yeah, she's well, not like Glinda, but I mean, come on now.
Okay. I'm just curious. I mean, has anybody really asked the question? What the hell is Mary Poppins?
I don't know, and I don't have the answers for that.
Okay.
Yeah. But what I do know
Okay, tell me.
is, unlike the film Mary, that was strict but fair.
Uh-huh.
The book Mary Poppins was very, very just strict. Someone who just never wasted time being nice. It was my way or the highway.
In the book, she was like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. P.L. Travers was pretty protective of her books. And we find this out if you've ever seen the movie Saving Mr. Banks with Tom Hanks
Good
as Walt
movie.
Disney.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
That movie is about Mary Poppins and P.L. Travers and stuff. So it's interesting to find out that this is actually true facts that they included into that movie as well. But she was very protective of her books, and she was worried that Disney would, just ruin them, just Disneyfy them, and not make them, what they were. And or at least just change, or at least they would change like a lot of things that she considered important and all that. And it took decades to convince her to let them make the film. And when it came out, she completely hated it.
Yeah.
They did exactly what she was afraid of that they were going to do. They Disneyfied it. They had songs. They had cartoons, laughing and joking around in there and everything. She completely hated it. She did love the fact that it was hugely popular with children and everything. And so this version of Mary lives on today.
And
and
the
everything.
book was actually published in 1934, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, 1930s.
1934.
Yeah. So, and it was very dark book. It was,
So it would have been like 30 years it took them to talk her into it.
yeah, that's nuts. Dick Van Dyke
Who
actually
is-
played,
Who is still with us today.
right? He lived on past Betty White.
Yeah.
He actually played two roles in this film. The infamous chimney sweep,
Yeah.
where we get the Mary Poppins.
Yeah, the really awful English accent.
Right. And the old bank boss.
Oh, didn't he have like a mustache or something, like glasses? Or...
He had like a beard, a mustache, glasses, and completely different accent.
Right.
And he
Thank
did it
God.
so well that the children that played, that starred in the movie didn't even recognize him. So they thought it was a completely different person.
Nice.
So nicely done by Dick Van Dyke there. David Tomlinson is best remembered as the stuffy and uptight Mr. Banks,
Okay.
and who is suspicious of Mary and her funny ways. However, he also had a bit of fun in the film playing several of the animated characters.
Yeah.
One of them being one of the penguins.
I was going to ask if he was one of the people.
Yeah, he was one of the penguins, and he was also the jockey.
Okay.
Additionally, he also voiced Mary's parrot, Umbrella.
Okay.
So the parrot head on the umbrella, that
Sure.
was voiced by David Tomlinson also. So
Okay.
he was a busy man.
Yeah, I bet.
So that's all I got on Mary Poppins.
Well, I got to say, those were fun facts, Corey.
Right?
I had a
guess it was
lot of fun. It was
Right.
a blast.
And I didn't get tongue tied all that much.
Good job.
Yeah, good job.
Good job. Good job.
All right, what you got, D-Dog?
Wow. Okay.
You see how I like
Just
that?
throwing that shit right
just-
back at me.
Right?
I'm going to talk about the classic, the 80s classic, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked. Yes!
Oh, please.
That was a really
That was
bad impersonation.
very bad. I apologize for that.
Never do that again.
Yeah, no.
This film was released June 22nd, 1988, just before my 8th birthday, and I did go see this in the theater. Did you see this in the theater?
I did. I think so.
You don't
pretty sure I
remember
did.
specifically that you did?
I don't remember if I did it specifically, but yeah.
Yeah, I watched this right down on the square there.
That's where I think I saw it at. Maybe
Cool.
we were there together. Who
Maybe.
knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, that's weird.
And it was released by Touchstone Pictures and Amblin Entertainment, which Amblin is, I believe, Spielberg's
Right.
production company. The film was directed by Robert Zemeckis. I don't think we really need to talk about what else he's directed. You know, Back to the Future, Forrest Gump,
Right.
and the like. It was based on a book by Gary K. Wolfe. IMDb gave this classic a 7.7 out of 10. Letterboxd gave it a 3.9 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 97% with an 85% audience rating. I gave this movie an 8 out of 10. I think it's probably my highest rating.
Yeah, I'm right there with
Movies.
you. Actually, I
It's a
think we're
classic.
like in sync on these movies.
Yeah.
'Cause that's exactly what I was gonna say. 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
How
you
many
can't-
times can I say it's a classic?
Right. It's
But
a
it
classic.
was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it still is.
Yeah.
It came out when?
1988.
Yeah. So see, it's a classic.
Yeah, it is a classic.
It didn't come out yesterday. So. All right.
Alrighty. Budget, $70 million. You think it flopped?
No.
Hell no, it didn't flop.
No.
We made $329 million. $329.8 million.
Wow.
The movie stars Bob Hoskins.
Mr. Mario.
Yep. Mario. Charles Fleischer, who voiced Roger Rabbit. Christopher Lloyd, who also worked with Robert Zemeckis in Back
Right.
to the Future. Mel Blanc did some voice work before he passed away. I
Okay.
think he died in early 90s, late
Yeah.
80s. It was just shortly before he died. And Kathleen Turner did the voice of Jessica Rabbit.
Okay.
Let's see. So I got some facts on this film. Quite a few, actually. This film was the only time that Disney characters and Warner Brother characters have appeared together on screen. The one and only time.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Actually, I believe it caused some friction between producers
Oh, I'm sure.
and companies.
I'm sure there were some copyrights there that
Yeah.
had to be solved before filming it.
I do have one fact concerning the friction that was caused. I'll get to that in a second. Bob Hoskins.
See, I'm not the only one.
Bob Hoskins' son refused to talk to him for 2 weeks after seeing the film
Really? Why?
because his son asked him, "Why would you make a movie and not let me meet Bugs Bunny and all the other characters?"
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, what else do I got? It is also the most expensive film produced in the 1980s. And it has the longest on-screen credits for a film. I don't know if that's true. That might have been true back then, but I would guarantee that Marvel movies
Oh yeah.
outdo that significantly.
Right.
But yeah, it was the most expensive film produced in the 1980s.
Nice.
Oh, here we go. The disagreement on the Looney Tunes characters. Warner Brother wanted them to look like they did on the merch that was being sold at the time. But the producers wanted the characters to look as they did in the 1940s, because that's when the film was set, in the 1940s.
Right. So they're older animations.
Right. So
Yeah.
the producers wanted the older animations. Warner Brothers wanted the newer stuff that they're
Right.
selling on merchandise and whatnot. Well, what happened was the modern designs of the characters were actually sent to Warner Brothers for approval, but then the producers used the period designs for the film itself. So what they did, they just sent the
Yeah.
modern designs to Warner Brothers for approval and used the old designs anyway.
All right. Kind of a stick it to you.
Yeah. And the last thing I have is actually, I think, one of the most interesting facts of the film. Tim Curry auditioned for Christopher Lloyd's character, Judge Doom.
Right.
And according to Zemeckis and a couple other people that were there during the audition, they said that his performance was terrifying.
I bet.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy, just knowing that. I mean, Christopher Lloyd did a good job,
Yeah.
and I thought he was super creepy. But yeah, Tim Curry, I don't.
Oh,
yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Tim Curry in that role. And this
Right?
was like 2 years before it,
Yeah.
when he played Pennywise. I can't imagine how scary it would be
Right?
sitting in that room watching Tim Curry do his thing. But I thought that was interesting. And that's all I have for Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Who did?
Who did? You tell me.
Huh?
You tell me.
It was Doom.
Was Judge Doom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Judge Doom.
Not Tim Curry?
No, not Tim Curry. Unless he was the cartoon.
No. So what you got, Sea-Dog?
Well, since we're talking about Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers cartoons and stuff, I'm going to talk about Space Jam.
Okay, the original?
The original Space Jam back in 96.
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
So I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan back in the 90s. I still am, you know, and everything. Still think he's the greatest of all times. I wanted to talk about this movie during our basketball theme episode,
But,
but I wanted to save it just for the mixed animation part.
sure.
So
The film was released.
it was released November 10th, 1996. Stars Michael Jordan, Bill Murray, Wayne Knight, and all of the Looney Tunes cast.
Okay.
Don't want to go into it, don't need to go into it. We all know who they are.
And Looney Tunes is,
Bugs Bunny and
no, I mean, that's Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, yeah. And that's who distributed and produced by Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It was directed by Joe Pytka. All he really did was commercials. That I didn't really get a background on him
Okay.
before this. Even after this movie, he went right back to commercials and music videos.
Okay.
So he's the commercial man.
How long has he been doing commercials? Since the 80s?
Oh
or-
yes, and I mean way
Before
before,
that, 70s?
Yeah, 70s and then 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, if you've been living under a rock lately and have not seen this movie,
I have not, and I've been under that rock for 25 years.
is it just because it's Michael Jordan or just the?
I think mainly I just never really, it never appealed to me, animation movies. The only times I really ever watch animation is with somebody else.
Okay.
And they take me to go watch a movie or something like that. So it's somebody else's decision. And I never got around to watching this film. I know a lot of people have told me, Duke, you really need to go watch Space Jam. It's a classic.
Excuse me.
It's like, that's great.
Cough
Debbie
that
Does
out there.
Dallas is a classic too. I've never seen that.
Right. I never have either. So.
That you want to admit.
Right. Never seen Two Girls in a Cup either.
I have.
I have
Yeah, it's
to. Sadly to say.
next.
Next.
Anyway,
This is a kids film here we're talking about, not movie 43, okay? Anyways, okay, we're getting off script here. Wait, we have a script.
we have no script.
We have no script. No, that's right. Anyways, so
Our
you haven't-
script is that we have no script.
if you haven't seen this movie,
that's me.
the Looney Tunes get taken hostage by some cartoon aliens, and they escape and recruit legendary basketball star Michael Jordan to help them regain their freedom in a basketball game.
Yeah.
So there's your synopsis. The budget for this movie was $80 million. It grossed $250 million.
Okay.
So made a lot of money. A lot of merchandise went into this movie too.
Oh,
as
I'm
well.
sure.
I was working at McDonald's when this movie came out, and I got to take home the huge banner that we put up on top of the roof.
Yeah, I think you told me that. Didn't they have a lot of like cups and shit that they were?
Yeah, they had the collectible tumbler glasses and all that. and,
Right.
I mean, action figures and you name it, they had it.
Did you ever have any? I'm sure you had some of that. Or
I had
do
the
you still
cups.
have it?
I have the cups. I think I still actually have the banner upstairs in my attic.
Oh wow,
I would have to dig for it, but I think I still actually have the banner.
that'd be a cool thing to have.
That thing is at least 12 foot long and about 5 foot tall.
Someone would pay a pretty penny for that, I bet.
I'm sure they would, but it's mine.
I know. I know, Sal.
No banner for you. IMDb gave this a 6.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 43% with a 63% audience rating. I think that's a little bland for it, really, but Letterboxd gave it 3.2 out of 5.
That's actually pretty good.
I gave it 7 out of 10 slates.
I can't rate it.
I mean, call me a Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan fan. I love this movie.
You're a Looney Tunes and a Michael
I am.
Jordan fan.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Ah, thank you.
I'm a little bit of a Looney Tune myself. Sometimes. Sound like Porky Pig when we're recording.
Yeah, it's all right. That's okay. That's okay, Frankie. You got
so
any fun facts?
I do. I
Are
actually
they
have.
fun?
I have a few, and yeah, they are fun.
Okay.
So the concept for this film actually began as a commercial, a year before the movie came out. So if you remember, there was a lot of Michael Jordan commercials for Nike, McDonald's, stuff like that. With he did some with Michael Jackson, and Larry Bird
Okay.
with the nothing but net,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Well, he did a commercial with Bugs Bunny, and it was called Hair Jordan, and they actually made a basketball card with Michael and Bugs Bunny on it called Hair Jordan. So yeah, so the commercial was Jordan and Bugs Bunny having a one-on-one basketball match, and it was a Nike commercial.
Okay.
So they said, hey, this could be a good movie, and then boom, Space Jam was born.
Okay.
So
Speaking
kinda
of
cool.
Michael Jordan and movies, Air was actually a good movie. You
Was
should
it?
check
I was
that
going to
out.
ask you about that.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a really good movie.
Speaking of basketball movies, I watched Champions over the weekend.
Yeah.
With Woody Harrelson, and I have to say, I mean, a lot of people don't know that I had a handicapped brother, and so it touched me, right there in the feel goods and stuff. But all in all, it was a good movie.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I did one notch higher just because of the feel goods. For it touched my heart
Sure.
and stuff. But it was if you haven't seen it, it's on Peacock, and I think Air is on HBO Max now, isn't it? Or is it on
I think
Amazon?
it might be on Hulu, or is it?
Hulu?
No, it might be Prime. I
Prime?
think it's on Prime.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I'd give it 6 out of 10. I was really curious to see how they would approach that subject matter.
Right. And it's not like it's a racial thing either. So I mean, it's kind of like a, just it's a touchy subject, and
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
is.
people don't know how to approach
Sure.
stuff like that. So I think they did a well job doing it.
And a lot of people don't know about me that I worked with developmentally disabled adults for 10 years
Yeah.
as a job.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I didn't have a family member that was
Right, but yeah, still, I mean, you work for them for so long, they become family.
yeah.
You know, so. But yeah, there's a couple of new movies that we've seen recently that kind of give a quick review for you guys, and we're gonna start doing that more often.
Yeah,
Just
we
give
do.
a fresh take.
We'll definitely be talking about newer movies and our thoughts on them.
Yeah. So
going forward.
Going forward, some other fun facts about Space Jam. Interacting with tunes and athletes with no acting experience at all. It was hard to find the role for Michael Jordan's publicist, played by Wayne Knight,
Yeah.
and Michael J. Fox, Chevy Chase, and Jason Alexander all passed on the role.
Okay.
So Jason Alexander then pitched it to Wayne Knight. He went and auditioned and got the job.
Okay.
So I think that would have been interesting to have. I think Jason Alexander would have done a good job. I
Yeah.
don't see Michael J. Fox or Chevy Chase
No, I could not.
back then.
I can definitely see Jason Alexander doing that. And Wayne Knight, this was during his, I think he had just gotten started
Yeah.
on Third Rock from the Sun
Right.
when the movie came out.
And but yeah, he did a good role and a good job. I love finding fun facts about people that have turned down roles to give another actor a chance,
Yeah.
and then they nail it.
I always add any of that stuff when I find it. I definitely add it to the fun facts.
Yeah, because it's interesting, and our listeners love hearing it too. So, in between takes, Michael Jordan would organize like the pickup games, and to just kind of stay in character and just stay loose. But he would invite like all the other NBA players and stuff, even the ones that were in the movie itself, and other ones. So it just became like this huge NBA all-star pickup game. And some of them that weren't in the movie that came to these games were names like Reggie Miller, Charles Oakley, Grant Hill, and Jerry Stackhouse, all legendary NBA players. So that would have been really fun to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been starstruck just with Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing,
Right.
all them on there. But to have all these players come back to just have fun in between takes, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be great.
Warner Brothers actually built Michael Jordan his own gym
Jeez.
while he was there.
They just give this man stuff.
I'm telling you, man, he's got everything. Have you seen his house?
No.
He has a basketball court in his house.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, not just outside, like a full size basketball court.
Right.
It's crazy, crazy money.
The man
I'm
is
telling you.
super rich because of his shoes, just
Yeah.
because of his shoes.
Right. Not to mention his basketball career.
I think he makes millions of dollars like every week or something.
Right.
Still?
He's probably making money now just by us talking about
Yeah,
him.
he just made $1 million.
You're welcome, Michael. Anyways, the hoops focused film
Oops.
Hoops is the highest grossing basketball movie, beating 1992's White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that's today's standards, but that's what I found out. So
Okay.
I'm sure it is. I mean, there's been other basketball movies out, but never heard that it surpassed any of these two.
So you're saying, as it stands right now,
As it stands right now, I
Space
think
Jam
it's
is
still
the highest
Space Jam.
grossing
Yeah, it's the highest grossing basketball
film.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
So-
interesting.
But that's all I got on Space Jam.
Okay.
So
Well
what
done.
you got? What you got now?
What you got now? I'd like to talk about Yogi Bear.
Okay.
This movie was released December 17th, 2010, and released by Warner Brothers, another Warner Brothers film. It was directed by Eric Brevig, written by Brad Copeland, Jennifer Ventimiglia, and Joshua Sternin. IMDb gave it a 4.6 out of 10. Letterboxd gave it a 1.9. A 1.9
Wow.
out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 13% with a 34% audience rating.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But the budget was $80 million. You think it flopped or no?
No, I think it made money.
Think it made money?
I think so.
Think it made a substantial amount of money? Or
I think it made its money back.
you think it just made it money back,
Yeah.
maybe a little more?
Maybe a little more.
203.5 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it made
That's
quite
astonishing.
a bit of money.
Yeah.
It's astonishing.
I know. I'm using big words.
Be careful now.
I know. Watch
You're
out.
jumping from not being able to talk to using big words.
Right. I evolved.
That was quick. So the movie stars Dan Aykroyd as Yogi Bear, Justin Timberlake as Boo Boo, and Anna Faris.
Okay.
I do have some facts on the film.
I think we've switched.
Okay, you just gave it to me.
Right.
Dan Aykroyd decided to do his own take on Yogi Bear instead of taking cues from the Dawes Butler version, who did the original Yogi Bear.
Right.
Let's see what else. Aykroyd and Timberlake recorded their lines together,
Okay.
as opposed to how usually
One would come
voice
in.
actors do it. Yeah, they do their line and then step back. Someone else come in and do their
Right.
line. Well, Aykroyd and Timberlake did their lines together, which I think is interesting
That
and
is-
fun.
Yeah, that is awesome. Imagine if we recorded this podcast, separately.
That would be weird.
That would be very weird. It'd be weird.
It'd be so weird.
Oh,
Anyway, yeah, we were just watching
Little Shop of Horrors.
one of my favorites. So Yogi Bear was the first live-action Hanna-Barbera cartoon to be shot following the deaths of Mr. Hanna and Mr. Barbera.
Yeah, I remember when the movie came out. I was excited actually about it.
I mean, it was only 13 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I was a little kid.
Wow. Did not realize.
I was like, Yogi, all right, yes. In my 30s.
Brendan Fraser, Will Ferrell, Ben Stiller, and Will Arnett were all considered for the role of Ranger Smith.
Why didn't Brendan Fraser take it? That would have been.
I don't know. I think this was during the beginning of his little issues and his downfall,
Okay.
when he was having financial and other personal issues.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a Brendan Fraser fan, so
Oh, yeah, totally.
that would have been cool to see him as the Ranger,
Right.
especially when he was Dudley Do Right.
Right, I forgot about that. I haven't seen that, but yeah. And for those of you that don't know what a Wilhelm scream is, that scream was used in this film, and not just this film, but dozens and dozens of other films, which I believe the original scream was done sometime in the 40s or 50s. It was an old Western, but they take that clip and they use it for a lot of video games and other movies.
Yeah.
This is an archive scream. And here's the sound of the scream. That's what it sounds like. I mean, that's all I have for Yogi Bear. Oh, no, I don't. There was another thing I had. The baseball player, Yogi Berra,
Yeah.
he was a baseball player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know my sports.
Yeah.
Or games. Or this or that. But anyway, Yogi Berra actually attempted to sue the creators of Yogi Bear when
Right,
it was
when-
released.
Now,
Not
when the movie
not
was
the movie,
released, or
but back in the old days.
so he tried
when-
to sue Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah,
Okay.
tried to sue them because of the name, but then realized, hey, my name isn't actually Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
His name's like William or some shit like that. I don't remember what his name is, but
Right.
long story short, he never sued Hanna-Barbera.
Got you.
And it was a kind of a ridiculous move on his part to even try.
Right.
But that's really all I have.
What did you give this movie?
I've not seen it.
You haven't seen Yogi Bear?
I have not.
You got to see Yogi Bear, man.
Do I?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's very entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah,
I-
yeah, it's very. I give it a 6.5. I don't usually give a half
Ooh.
point, but I give it 6.5 out
Throwing
of
out
10.
the halves
Yeah,
and the have-nots.
it's kind of in between.
Okay.
But it could have been better. But like you said, for the first Hanna-Barbera movie to be live action like that, it
it was the first one to be released after their death.
after their death. Okay, well,
Their respective deaths.
I think it was actually the live action. They've released cartoons and stuff since then, but the
yeah.
live action movies, I think was Yogi Bear was the first one.
Okay.
I think Scooby Doo came. No, Scooby Doo was before.
I think that one's a little older.
Yeah, I think that is a little older. So my bad.
Yeah.
So okay, scratch
But
that.
yeah, the whole point was that it was released, the first one to be released
After their death.
after
yeah.
their deaths.
Yeah, and Yogi Bear is a classic, classic cartoon.
Yeah.
So to see that live action, I think they did it fairly well. Yeah. They really did. So
Cocaine Bear and Boo Boo.
Oh, I don't know about Cocaine Bear, but that would be interesting. Yogi Cocaine Bear. That's his cousin.
Right.
That's his crackhead cousin.
They actually stuffed the actual Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
And he's actually making his rounds in the horror conventions.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, his name is Pablo Escobar.
Escobar.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
What you got? Well, that's all I got. What you got?
Well, I'm going to talk about another classic cartoon made into movies, and that is The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Okay.
Have you seen this one?
Not the movie, no.
Not the movie, but you've watched the cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Grew up on it.
All right. So, anyways, when
Boris and Natasha.
when Boris and Natasha and Fearless Leader escape into the real world with the nefarious scheme, Rocky and Bullwinkle do the same and team up with a young FBI agent to stop the trio. That's what the movie is
Ryan
about.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
No, not
No,
Ryan Reynolds.
no Ryan Reynolds. It stars Robert De Niro.
Oh,
He is the fearless leader. Rene Russo plays Natasha,
interesting.
and Jason Alexander plays Boris.
Really?
June Foray is the voice of Rocky, which is, I believe, the original voice of Rocky in the cartoons.
Okay.
And Keith Scott is playing Bullwinkle.
Now, do you know how old this cartoon is? It came out in the 60s, didn't it?
Yeah, it was an old cartoon. I just remember it being out, on Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, yeah. I watched the hell out of it when I was a kid.
It was Rocky and Bullwinkle and Gumby.
Gumby. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, 1959.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends premiered in 1959.
Wow.
I didn't know it was that old.
I didn't know it was that old either. I was thinking 60s.
Yeah.
But wow. All right. Well, it was directed by Day McKenneth, and it was distributed and produced by Universal and Walt Disney Pictures.
Okay.
It had a budget of $76 million. You think it flopped?
Yes.
$35 million is what it grossed.
Only made half its money.
Yeah. IMDb gave it 4.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 43% with a 20% audience rating.
Yikes.
And Letterboxd gave it 2.1 out of 5.
Wow, that's pretty low.
So I think this is my lowest rating for this episode. It's 4 out of 10 slates for me. It was okay. I mean, Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon wasn't all that great, anyways. It was just we were kids,
Yeah.
so it was a cartoon. It was a flying squirrel and a moose. I mean, and I just remember, Dave Coulier from Full House, doing the whole Rocky
Yeah.
or the Bullwinkle, impression. So,
Yep.
so it's just very nostalgic, but not very good.
Yeah. So it's not amazing like Yogi Bear.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend seeing it. I mean, unless you want to just watch it once for satisfaction purposes. But other than that, no, just put it back in the vault, leave it there.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Drink a bunch of NyQuil and watch Rocky and Bullwinkle.
right. I have or alcohol, either one. That might make it more interesting.
Maybe.
Eat some shrooms and watch
Oh,
Rocky and
Lord.
Bullwinkle. That'd be colorful.
Yeah. I'd rather watch the old cartoons and eat some shrooms.
There you go. I only have one fun fact about this movie.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it would have made the movie better or worse. But the film was originally in pre-production since 1992.
Wow.
Yeah, so it took a while for it to come out. With Danny DeVito and Meryl Streep set to play Boris and Natasha.
Well, now, when was this movie released?
It was released June 30th, 2000.
Okay.
So 8 years this movie was supposed to come out.
Right. It was just after my 20th birthday. My 20th
Right.
birthday.
So what do you think about that? Danny DeVito and Meryl Streep as Boris and Natasha.
First thing that comes to mind is Matilda for some reason. With the whole Danny DeVito.
Right. And I just don't see Meryl Streep playing dark-haired Russian.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, she's a good actress, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was, you haven't seen this movie, but it was, Rene Russo was pretty bad. And I like Rene Russo, but yeah.
Bad as in bad, not bad as in good.
Yeah, bad as in bad. Like,
Not Michael Jackson bad.
no, it was very bad.
Okay.
And Danny DeVito as Boris, he's are you okay?
Yeah.
About-
Just bouncing off my microphone.
I mean, he plays the short part because Boris is short,
Yeah.
but no offense to Danny DeVito or anything, but I just don't know if he can do a
He
Russian.
knows he's short.
Yeah,
He's-
but I don't know if he can do a Russian accent.
I think Danny DeVito can do whatever, even if it's bad. It's still Danny DeVito, so nobody's going to complain.
Nobody's going to care. It's Danny DeVito.
It's freaking
Gosh.
Danny DeVito, man.
He's friends with Arnold, so
Yeah.
Anyways, so like I said, the movie was set to come out in 1992, but there was like a bunch of legal problems. Copyrights prevented the film from being made and everything until 2000, and that's where we got the movie. Now it says it was felt the producer, which is Jane Rosenthal.
Rosenthal?
Yeah, Rosenthal.
Yeah.
And she felt that the movie should be a live action animation hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the after the success of Casper in '95,
Yeah.
that's where they that's where we got this movie, this train wreck. So, but yeah,
Okay.
4 out of 10 slates for me. Nah, not a fan.
I'm not going to run out and watch it.
No, I wouldn't. So that's what I got.
Okay.
What you got, D-Dog?
Jeez. It just sounds weird.
It does. That's why I keep doing it.
T-O. I'd like to talk about Evil Tunes.
Ooh, yes.
It's the only horror movie on our hybrid.
Yes. I
Film,
was
list
excited
of
to add
hybrid.
this to our list and gave it to you
Oh,
personally.
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely.
So you're welcome.
Thank you. So Evil Tunes was released January 8th, 1992, and it was released under American Independent Productions.
Okay.
It was directed and written by Fred Olen Ray, who also directed such movies as Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers and Scalps, all low-budget horror stuff.
Right.
And he also used prostitutes and strippers and whatnot in his films because they had no qualms about getting naked.
Right. And it's probably cheaper too.
Yeah.
As we've learned in the last episode, that it's cheaper to hire prostitutes and hookers than
Yep.
it is the actresses.
So you know, for all you prospective,
If you ever want to get in the film
filmmakers,
industry,
yeah.
there you go.
IMDb gave Evil Tunes 4.1 out of 10. Letterboxd gave it a 2.3 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 33% with a 25% audience rating. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah.
I watched it finally after saying I was going to watch it for so long, and we didn't even know this movie existed until it just popped up
Well,
and everything.
I think I had heard of it. I just never had watched it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's an entertaining film. It's not a good film.
No.
It's not a bad film. And it has its moments, specifically with Dick Miller.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. With David Carradine.
Yeah.
And everything. So.
It was made on a budget of $140,000. Don't really have what it grossed because it was a direct-to-video film.
Okay.
And it did star, as you said, David Carradine and Dick Miller, and also Artie Johnson and Monique Gabrielle,
Okay.
who is a Kansas City-born actress.
Is she?
Yep.
Nice.
I do have some fun facts about the film, not too many. But Fred Olen Ray pitched the idea of the film to Roger Corman, the king of the B movies. And he pitched the movie to be made for $250,000. But Corman said, no, that's not enough money, and he turned it down. So Fred Olen Ray decided to make the movie on his own for $140,000,
Nice.
for even less.
Right.
So-
So, even if it was a flop and we don't know,
Yeah.
it's not out that much money.
I'm sure it made its money back
Oh, yeah,
in video
definitely.
sales. It is kind of a cult classic, so
Right.
I'm sure people are going out and still buying the Blu-rays, and they're making some cash on that. So
Right. Is it out on Blu-ray?
it is on Blu-ray. Yeah.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah. The movie was shot in 8 days.
8 days.
8 days, and they used the camera crew, and I guess the whole crew was used from a different production. They brought them in and used them.
Wow.
Filmed in 8 days.
That's got to be some kind of record,
Maybe.
because it usually takes at least 3 months to
Well, I'm sure that's
average.
bigger budget movies, but like low budget stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And even back probably in the 40s and 50s, they probably shot
Right.
movies in just a few days.
True.
True.
That's cool though. 8 days.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the last thing I really have on this, well, the movie was filmed. I can't remember the name of the mansion, but it was all the outside shots were done at a certain mansion. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the mansion, but other movies were filmed there, such as Halloween, one of the Halloweens. I'm blanking on what the other movies were, but just across the street from where that movie was filmed, People Under the Stairs was shot
Okay.
at one of the mansions across the street. So I thought that was interesting.
Nice.
And that's all I have for Evil Tunes from 1992. It says 91, but it was filmed in 91,
Yeah.
released in 92. It's a direct-to-video. That's
Awesome,
all
awesome.
I got. What you got, Sea-Dog?
All right. Well, my final film is Chippendales Rescue Rangers.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen this one yet?
Mm-mm.
So it was released May 20th, 2022.
Oh, it's a newer film.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's 2022. It was released directly onto Disney Plus.
Oh, that's probably why I'm not.
Yeah. And,
I don't have my finger on the pulse of Disney Plus stuff.
right. It stars Andy Samberg and John Mulaney playing the voices of Chip and Dale.
You know, I tell you, I'm not a real big fan of Andy Samberg. Never really have been until I watched one certain movie,
Which one's that?
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs. Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's on Hulu, I believe. You can watch it on Hulu, but it's a time loop movie.
Okay.
He lives the same day over and over and over and over. It's a really funny movie, and it has J.K. Simmons as well.
Nice.
Good movie. Check it out.
Definitely. Well, the movie is based on 30 years after the popular television show ended,
Okay.
and
I remember the show.
all the chipmunks, Chippendale, they live very different lives now. And when one of their former cast members is mysteriously disappears, the pair must, they reunite to save their friend, and get the rescue rangers back together again and stuff, so to speak. So
You got your synopsis. I should have did that for Evil Tunes.
yeah,
My bad.
it's okay. It's okay.
That's okay, Frankie.
It was directed by Akiva Shaver, and he also directed, and this will make sense with Andy Samberg, he also directed Saturday Night Live episodes,
Okay.
all of the Lonely Island music videos.
Yeah, sure.
So he's got a connection with Andy Samberg.
Okay.
And it was distributed by Walt Disney, had a budget of $70 million, only grossed $1.8 million.
Yikes.
I don't.
But then again, it was not a theater.
right. So
not
I'm
a
wondering.
theatrical
I'm wondering
release.
if this is just off of subscription, purchases to watch the film, or views. I don't know how they rate that now.
I think we should definitely look into how that works.
Yeah,
And get a
because
better understanding.
once I say the ratings, it doesn't add up.
Right.
So the ratings on this, IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 80% with a 79% audience rating, and Letterboxd gave it a 3.3 out of 5.
Okay.
So
So
high
if-
ratings.
If
I
this
mean,
was a theatrical release, it would definitely make its money back plus.
right,
Yeah.
definitely. I gave it 7 out of 10 slates. I loved Chippendales Rescue Rangers growing up, watched them and everything. So when I heard that they were coming out with a movie, I couldn't wait.
So
And-
you enjoyed the hell out of it?
Yeah, it was very entertaining, very nostalgic, and everything. So I recommend seeing it if you haven't seen it yet.
I suggest if you want to Google the movie, be very careful, unless that's your thing, looking up Chippendales.
Right. Yeah. Be very careful.
Corey did that and was
Don't let your kids Google Chippendales because the autocorrect will harm them and scar them for life.
perhaps.
Some fun facts about this is early in the film, Dale stars in his own show titled Double O Dale, and in the early '90s, Disney was developing a show called Double O Duck.
Okay.
This idea was scrapped when it was discovered that the title Double O is actually owned by the estate of Ian Fleming,
Yeah, sure.
author of the James Bond.
Right.
But I would think like the OO, like using double O would be copyrighted, but the actual wording of double O, I'm not sure about
There
that.
might be
but-
a loophole there.
Right. But Double O Duck was actually reworked because of the copyright issues and everything, and became Darkwing Duck.
Oh, okay.
So that's an interesting fun fact there.
Yeah.
That's how Darkwing Duck came about.
Right.
I like the name Darkwing better than I would Double O Duck.
Sure.
So,
So that's where that came about.
yeah.
They couldn't use double O, so they had to change it to Darkwing.
Right.
Okay.
Tress MacNeil actually reprised the role of Gadget that for the first time since the TV series, since it ended in 1990. So it was cool to see her come back and voice Gadget again.
Okay.
She also reprised her role as Chip in his chipmunk voice for a few scenes in the movie.
Okay.
And then also another fun fact, if you remember us talking about Sonic the Hedgehog last episode, and I spoke about Ugly Sonic.
Yep.
So I just wanted to reiterate that Ugly Sonic is in the Chippendales Rescue Rangers movie. So if you were a fan of the original design of Sonic the Hedgehog, AKA Ugly Sonic, you can now see him in Chippendales Rescue Rangers.
So is this like archival footage from stuff they didn't use?
I know they used the design, and I looked it up. It is the same man that was supposed to voice Sonic in the original. They both got cut. So they basically found, they were homeless, jobless, and found a new home in Rescue Rangers, just as Ugly Sonic. So there's an alley in the movie. There's this alley of misfit cartoons and everything. Kind of like in Wreck-It Ralph when they're in the hall and all the misfit video games are there.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it's kind of like that. Well, Ugly Sonic has a booth in the alley for misfit. It's weird. I mean,
Okay.
and he's only in it for a couple cameos and says a few lines. That's it. He doesn't have any other special role in the movie. But it's just fun to see that they actually reused.
Yeah, that's interesting that they worked him in there.
Yeah. Like here, you don't fit out for the actual film, but we got a job for you.
Yeah, sure.
So that's all I got. That's all I got to say about that.
I'll have to tell you about that.
Yeah. So
Okay, well, I got one more.
all right.
And what we're going to do here, folks, is we do have a whole lot more movies, but we're going to cut this sucker in half.
Yeah. Yeah. We realized our last episode was a commitment.
Yeah.
And we're not going to apologize because it was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I had a blast doing it.
And but it's a lot of hard work doing this and looking up all this information to give you guys. And so we just figured we'd prolong our finale and make it a two-parter this time.
Yep. So we'll be releasing this one this week. Next week you'll hear the rest of our films for hybrid
Right.
animation films.
So what you got to end?
I'm going to talk about Monkey Bone.
We welcome you to downtown, and while you're in your coma, this cheap and cheerful clown town will be your home sweet home.
Monkey Bone. All right. I haven't seen that.
Monkey Bone.
Yeah, I haven't seen that forever.
Monkey Bone. Monkey Bone was released February 23rd, 2001. I actually really, really enjoyed this movie when it first came out because it was dark and it was different from anything else that was really coming out at that time or
Right.
even before that.
I think I've only seen it. I think I didn't see it in theaters, but when it came out on video, that's when I watched it. And
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it since.
Oh, yeah.
But I
You
still remember it.
should definitely rewatch
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
It doesn't really hold up like it did 20 years ago, but it's still an entertaining watch.
Oh, I'm sure.
This movie was released by 20th Century Fox. It was directed by Henry Selick and written, it was based on a graphic novel by Kaja Blackley. IMDb gave it a 4.8 out of 10. Letterboxd gave it a 2.5 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 20% with a 27% audience rating.
Wow.
Not very
Popular. Yeah.
it's not loved, and I don't think it's, like you said, I don't think it's a very popular film.
Right. It's not a bad film per se, but like you said, it's very different and probably wouldn't hold up.
It kind of doesn't hold up. I would call it a cult classic. Probably on the verge of a cult classic.
Right.
I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I kind of forgot about it there for a while.
It's one of Brendan Fraser's less roles.
Yeah, definitely
So-
one of his lesser roles. It's better than Doolittle.
Right.
Is that the
Dudley Do Right.
Dudley Do Right?
Yeah.
It's better than Dudley Do Right.
Doolittle. Brendan Fraser and Eddie Murphy.
It was made on a budget of $75 million. You think it flopped?
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely flopped. Big time. Out of the $75 million budget, it only made $7.6 million.
Wow.
Lost a shitload of money.
That's crazy.
It stars Brendan Fraser, Bridget Fonda, John Turturro. We love me some we love our John Turturro.
Yes.
Chris Kattan, who was the voice of Monkey Bone.
Mm-hmm.
It also stars Rose McGowan and Dave Foley.
Nice.
I think it's fun to note that Dave Foley and Brendan Fraser also starred together in Blast from the Past.
Yeah.
And I do have some little fun facts. Let me see what I can find. Monkey Bone. Nick Cage was considered for the role of Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser's role.
Right.
Christopher Walken was also considered for another role in the film.
Not Brendan Fraser's role?
Nope.
Okay. Because that would have been even creepier, I think.
Yeah, that would be
Because
weird.
Monkey Bone was supposed to be the creepy one.
Yeah.
Of them.
Let's see. Ben Stiller was originally cast as Monkey Bone instead of Chris Kattan, but he left due to some complications with his filming in Mystery Men,
Okay.
which actually came out 2 years before, so I'm not sure how that worked out.
Right.
And the last thing I do have on Monkey Bone is that 20th Century Fox's this was 20th Century Fox's only live action / animation film until 2020's Call of the Wild. It was the only movie they made that was
Really?
live action animation until Call of the Wild.
Wow. That another excellent newer movie too.
Yeah, you've
If you
told me
haven't seen
about
it.
that one. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Very, very good.
And that
Harrison Ford.
Mr. Harrison Ford,
Yep. And Buck the dog.
Buck the dog.
Yeah. He's CGI, and I mean they did a really good job animating that dog, make it look real and stuff. But
I'm curious to how close to the Jack London book it is.
pretty close from what I've heard.
Mhm.
It's very, very close to it. It's a very touching movie. I mean, I loved it. My mother loved it. God rest her soul.
Yeah.
That was one of her favorite newer films that just came out.
Really?
That she saw recently was she actually went to the theater and saw that
Really?
and recommended it to me. So
Okay.
hats off to you, Mom.
Right on. Maybe I'll have to go out and see that one too.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm just not a big fan of
Harrison
the.
Ford.
No, I like
No.
Harrison Ford.
I was like, what's wrong
I'm
with
actually,
you, man?
I'm looking forward to the new Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, definitely.
And there are some thoughts about it possibly being a time travel film that has never been. I don't know.
I hope
There's
not.
people saying that it's possible.
Well, I know there's like
It's
age.
never-
I know there's some. I want to say it's flashbacks.
Yeah,
but
they-
they're doing the aging.
Yeah, they do the
de-aging
de-aging.
process.
Yeah, that's only in flashbacks,
Okay.
but it hasn't been confirmed, and it's just a theory right now that it could possibly
Yeah.
include
The movie-
time travel.
Right. The movie is coming out June 20th or 30th. 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you would think you'd know what the movie's about right now, by now.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny,
Yeah, that's what we know.
but that's
And
not
his final film,
really.
his final film and final role of
Well,
Indiana
definitely
Jones.
his final role is Indiana Jones. He's 80 years old, for
Yeah.
God's sake.
Yeah. But
But that has nothing to do with Monkey Bone.
no, has nothing to do with Monkey Bone. So continue on.
I have nothing more.
You have nothing more? Okay.
But I mean, I guess we can continue this later.
To be continued.
I think it's a good ending to talk about Harrison Ford
Yeah. And his
a-
ending.
and a new movie that's coming out with him in it. Yeah,
Oh.
his ending. But
So
that's
yeah.
all I have. That's
Okay.
until next week.
Until next week, we'll hold off
Yep,
because
we have another 10 for you.
Yep.
So stick around, folks.
See you later.
Bye.
In depth of mystery, Jimmy and a right swoops out of the shadows, darkly of the night. Somewhere, some villain schemes, but his number's up. 3, 2, 1. Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you call DW. Darkwing Duck.
Let's get dangerous.
Darkwing Duck. Darkwing, Darkwing. that's for sure. Bad guys are out of luck. Here comes